Here's how you generate a PDF from any website using Puppeteer or Playwright. A few lines of JavaScript, a headless browser, and you've got a PDF. And here's the same thing with a single API call if you don't want to install Puppeteer or Chrome binaries. We get the same result. The difference is that one needs a full Chrome installation and the other is just an HTTP request. In this video, I'll show you both methods and also explain why a headless browser is the right tool for generating PDFs. I'll also show you a few useful customization options and then how to take it to production with Browserless. Let's jump right in. Not all PDF generators work the same, and the difference comes down to one thing: JavaScript rendering. A lot of libraries out there either build PDFs manually without a browser or use outdated rendering engines. The problem is that modern web pages rely heavily on JavaScript to load data, and JavaScript only runs on actual browsers. Think of dashboards pulling data from APIs or dynamically loaded information when a page loads. If your PDF tool doesn't execute JavaScript, you get a blank page, missing data, or a half-rendered layout. A headless browser solves this. It's a real browser running without a visible window. It loads the page, executes all the JavaScript, waits for the data to come in, renders the CSS, and only then prints the PDF. That's why you get exactly what you'd see if you open that page in your local Chrome and then hit print. And that's what Puppeteer gives you. So let's set it up. You need Node.js and Puppeteer installed. So we run these lines. Puppeteer downloads compatible Chrome binaries automatically. It's about 170 megabytes at the time. Keep that number in mind for later, since we'll trim that down later in this video. In this script, we launch headless Chrome, navigate to a URL, and call page.pdf. The network to option waits until most of the network requests are done. So most of the JavaScript, API calls, and dynamic content have already finished loading. And print background set to true. Make sure that you keep your background colors and images, because without it, Chrome strips them out by default. Basically, they're trying to save you on toner if you actually want to print the PDF. See, this script is in case you have a URL you want to print, but if you're already building the HTML or invoices, reports, tickets, or coupons, or whatever you may be using it for, instead of using page.goto, use page.sendContent with an HTML string. See, it generates a clean invoice, proper styling, and it's ready to send. And since it's just HTML and CSS and your front-end team already knows how to build these, there's no special PDF library to learn how to use. Honestly, the page.pdf method has a lot of options, but here are a few you'll actually use, such as margins and page size. Those are pretty common. We also have headers, footers, and page numbers, and these are also where I see a lot of people get stuck. The templates use a limited CSS context, so you have to inline everything just like this. A very common ask is, how do I put the page number on my PDF? Well, there are actually special classes such as page number, total pages, and date, and these will get replaced automatically by Puppeteer. And the most common mistakes I see here is that if your margins are too small, the header and the footer will overlap with your content. So make sure you give it some space. And another mistake is not specifying the font size. That kind of makes your numbers look way too small to read. So make sure you specify a font size that works for your PDF. This all works great on your machine, but in production, 3 problems come fast. Chrome is over 170 megabytes, so you'll see huge cold starts in containers or serverless endpoints, leading to high latency, and your PDFs are going to take ages to generate. Chrome also tends to leak memory over time, so a few concurrent requests can kill your server entirely. Concurrency can get hard to manage since you need browser pooling, crash recovery, and queuing. You can solve all this yourself, or you can let someone else handle the infrastructure. That's what Browserless is for. It acts as a browser as a service and allows you to generate PDFs quite easily. So the easiest option is the PDF API. You saw this in the intro already. No Puppeteer installation or Chrome binaries, just one HTTP request and you get a PDF back. But it does more than just hit a URL. You can also pass a raw HTML instead, just like this example. You can also inject custom styles with add style tag, block ads, and all the same PDF options that Puppeteer offers, such as margins, headers, footers. All of that works here too. You can call it from any language, such as Python, JavaScript, Go, Ruby, basically anything that can fetch HTTP requests. So use this PDF API when you need a PDF from a URL or HTML string without complex browser interaction. If you get bot detection on the site you need to generate a PDF from, Check our links in the description for more advanced API endpoints that can also generate PDFs. The second option is our Browser as a Service tool, which plugs right into Puppeteer or Playwright. Let's look at this Puppeteer code, for example. We change this one line and we're good to go. Everything else stays identical. Page.goto, page.pdf, the headers, footers, it's all the same. The browser just runs on Browserless instead of your machine. And since it's running on our cloud, you can change the Puppeteer library from Puppeteer to Puppeteer Core. And that way, your project will be much more lightweight. I'd recommend that you use this method when you need full browser control first. Say you need to log in or navigate on the page before you generate the PDF. This is the right tool for you. That's basically all you need to know to generate PDFs from HTML. Use Puppeteer locally for testing, our PDF API or Browser as a Service when you need production-ready PDFs and you need to generate them at scale. You can find our docs, the full written guide, and a free tier link in the description below. If you want to learn more, please consider subscribing as I'm building a full series on browser automation, and some of this information may be useful for you in the future projects. This is Alejandro from Browserless. Thank you for watching.